Broadcasting live from the Victory Casino Cruises studio, this is Orlando's sports leader, 740, The Game, an iHeart radio station.
Slow traffic eastbound I-4 between Michigan Street and State Road 434. An accident in this area causing these delays. Also westbound I-4 is slow from Lake Mary Boulevard to State Road 434 and then from Colonial Drive to about the 408. You want to look out for delays also northbound along the 417 from Colonial Drive to about Red Bug Lake Road. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Tip Line, 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Catherine Davis.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
iHeartRadio connects you to your favorite artists in our app.
The iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio rocks! In concert.
Right here on iHeartRadio Music Awards.
And now on Snapchat. Each day, explore our iHeartRadio Discover channel on Snapchat to get close to your favorite musicians. Personal moments, backstage access, and exclusive conversations with the biggest names in music.
iHeart, are you ready?
The iHeartRadio Discover channel on Snapchat.
iHeartRadio.
No one gets you closer.
The Open Mic with Mike Bianchi.
The other thing that drove me crazy on Saturday, the targeting calls. I hate the penalty. Give him a penalty, yes, for a helmet to helmet or whatever. Don't kick him out of the game. Do not kick him out of the game. The USF guy that got kicked out of the game, I don't think he should have on Saturday. Didn't Stanford have a targeting penalty as well, Doc?
They did, and it was hot garbage.
Mike Bianchi, weekday mornings at 6 on 740, The Game. Somebody has to wake up that early.
Hey fans, this is Eric Kohler, stadium voice of UCF football. We invite you to tune in to EK Sports every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we feature the preferred picks of the week, insured by our good friends at Preferred Benefits Consultants, where it's always fun to pick those games of the week, but never a time to gamble with your health care. Find a Preferred Benefits Consultant at OrlandoHealthExchange.com. That's a letter X, OrlandoHealthExchange.com, and start saving today.
If you're not a smoker, please cover your ears, because the following incredible free money-saving offer is not for you. The makers of O2 Pure, the world's most advanced e-cigarette, are now giving away free starter kits to all smokers who call in the next 10 minutes. Valued at $99, these starter kits are available for free, but only while supplies last. To guarantee your free kit, simply call in the next 10 minutes. 1-800-572-8423. The revolutionary O2 Pure design creates only water vapor. There's no foul-smelling smoke and no nasty tar. So you can enjoy the nicotine you love whenever and wherever you are. Even better, you could also save yourself a ton of money, hundreds of dollars a month with O2 Pure. Again, free starter kits are now available to any smoker who calls in the next 10 minutes. This is a radio-only offer, not available in stores. So call now for your free kit. 1-800-572-8423. 1-800-572-8423. 1-800-572-8423.
Listen up, people.
This is The Rich Eisen Show.
He's a professional.
If Washington wants fair value, why not go ahead and call up Jerry Jones and say, what do you got?
You can't tell me Robert Griffin can't learn that Cowboys playbook in 4 weeks.
I don't know.
$16 million, though? They're going to bring him in or an injury?
Maybe Law. Maybe Law. Maybe the Eagles would be interested in him.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Weekdays at noon on 740. The Game.
Are you looking for your dream home? Or are you looking to move out of your current home and find the home to start the next chapter of your life? Look no further. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty is your go-to guy to help you with all your needs. Specializing in West Orange County, Lake County, and Ocoee, his goal is to take care of you from the beginning to the end and is not satisfied until the job is complete. Stop by 401 West Colonial Drive, Suite 7, or give him a call, 321-945-6832. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty.
Tweet us. Stay in the game on Twitter at 740 The Game.
Here we go, yo. One time for your mind. You know we ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set. Ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set.
We are back. This is now hour number 2 of Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFO LLC. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, calling in tonight from Orlando, Florida. Phone number 407-916-8255 and toll free 800-729-8255 is the number to call in as well too if you're nationwide. My man Mark Johnson on live with me tonight, and we're going to take the final hour of the show and break down everything with the Central Division going on. But, Mark, the Central Division has so many different things happen this year, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, and the Chicago Bulls all being in the same division. But before we go into any further detail, let's talk about one of the point guards in the division. There's a potential trade rumor and a potential trade partner for Brandon Jennings, and there's also one for another point guard, Ricky Rubio. Mark, who gets moved first? Is it Brandon Jennings or is it Ricky Rubio?
I would say it's Ricky Rubio. Brandon Jennings, I'm like, we have a health issue there. I'm like, when he's healthy, he plays well. But this injury could drag on for a little while. So I would say Ricky Rubio is probably in front of that, when comparing the players.
With both guys, they both have big deficiencies. Ricky Rubio is not a very good shooter, and Brandon Jennings is not one. I don't think he's a dynamic playmaker as much as Rubio is. So, Mark, if you're going to take one, for me, I'm taking Rubio. If you're going to take one as your point guard, which one are you choosing?
To be honest with you, I think, Brandon Jennings was starting to come in his own, as a playmaker. He can at least, make a couple open shots. But I think, to be honest with you, depending on what team you're going to, if you're going to a more traditional offense, I think I would take Rubio. If it's more of a freestyle thing, then I don't think you need a ball-dominant guard, much like Rubio is. So I would go Jennings. But I would say more systems are, more freestyle. So I think I would go Jennings over Rubio. Depending on the health, of course. Let's not leave that out.
Well, yeah, of course. Both guys have had, it's health and friendship issues, and teammate issues. But I don't know. For me, I think I like Rubio a little bit better because Rubio gets more guys involved and he fits more offenses. Unless you're looking for a shoot-first point guard, I don't think you're going to find one better than Brandon Jennings. So let's go a little deeper into the division now. The Cleveland Cavaliers won the division last year, and they won the division last year. So do you think any of the 4 teams had a shot at catching them in the division this year?
I think Chicago, has an outside shot, but I still really don't see it. I think, Cleveland, they're too tough inside. And it's still going to take, Chicago getting used to the new coach. Fred Hoiberg does this fun and gun offense. I'm not sure how Taj Gibson and Joakim Noah fit in this offense. And I'm not sure if they'll be around if they don't fit. So I'm like, it's a lot of question marks with Chicago. I would have to go with Cleveland.
Wow. There's these question marks all the way around, and we'll go a little bit deeper. I'm waiting on Dan Feldman to call into the show tonight so we can talk more about the Central Division. Before we go any deeper with the Central Division and some of the teams and, and some of the big storylines, Mark, we didn't get a chance to touch on this on the last break, but Markieff Morris, which you did mention, what is your thoughts on the future of Markieff Morris and where is he going to end up?
I just think he's going to be out of Phoenix. I just don't see that situation, working out. He's kind of, made his stance. The team has kind of made their stance, and it's kind of like, yeah, we like Markieff back, but it's kind of like one of these, I'm not saying with any conviction or whatever. Like, if he goes, he goes. I know it's other teams out there. I don't know, how much they will get back from him, for him. So I'm not really sure on that front, but I don't see him in Phoenix, this season. I just don't see it.
Well, you know what? Our top of the hour guest has finally arrived. For those who are on the internet and also know about his writing on NBCSports.com and Pro Basketball Talk, he's one of their best writers they have on staff, and he's going to give us his thoughts on everything with the Central Division since this is the hour of the Central Division. Our good friend Dan Feldman is online. Dan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
You know, we're excited. You know, it's our first. The next 6 weeks we're talking every single division, so we're going to start it off with you, and you're the kickoff guy with the Central Division. So we talked about this for a second. First question: Cleveland won the division last year, and they ran the way to the finals. Are any of the four teams behind Cleveland eligible or good enough to actually catch Cleveland this year?
I think there's a very, 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 very slight chance Chicago or Milwaukee could, but I don't think they will. I think the Cavaliers are the class of not only this division but this conference. I think it's a real long shot for any other team in the conference to catch the Cavs this season.
Okay. Let's see. When talking about the division, right, with all the additions that Milwaukee made, what do you think the ceiling is for that team? How far do you think they could go?
I think the ceiling's probably the Eastern Conference Finals. With Cleveland pulling away from the pack, it's pretty wide open. I don't think the Bucks will make it that far, but I think that's their ceiling. I think a little more realistic is maybe a first-round playoff loss. I think they're going to have a little bit of a tougher time adjusting this season than most people think. They lost a few veteran players, Jared Dudley, Ersan Ilyasova, Zaza Pachulia, who played really important roles on the breakthrough team last year. There's a lot of flashy names, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Michael Carter-Williams. I really like their young talent for the future, but those veterans meant more for the present than I think people realize. And it'll take a little bit to overcome that, even with the addition of Greg Monroe.
One more question just to piggyback on that. What are your thoughts on Jabari Parker, and do you think he'll be able to come back, as the player that we've seen, in college?
Yeah, I think he will. The signs seem pretty good, and it seems like the Bucks are going to be smart and patient about it, as they should be. He's a quality player. What I really like about Milwaukee is the number of quality young players they have. So it's not just Jabari Parker. It's not just Greg Monroe. It's not just Antetokounmpo. You add up all these guys, and the odds that at least one, maybe a few, are going to turn into some pretty good players are high. So I don't think their hopes are all riding on just Jabari Parker, even though he was such an important pick for them. They've really hedged their bets in a nice way.
Well, you know what? There's one team that a lot of people are not talking about right now. People say, you look at what Milwaukee's done, you look at what Cleveland's done. Detroit, they re-signed Reggie Jackson. And there's one team people forget about, and that is the Indiana Pacers. They went out and got Monte Ellis, and they got Paul George back. First off, will Monte Ellis bring the Pacers back to the playoffs, and how far can this team go? Does he make them even more dangerous?
He's a nice player to have, but he's got a real tough job ahead of him. This team's transitioning to a new style, trying to play more up-tempo, and they're definitely more well-equipped to do that than last year. But to get that stylistic difference, they took a downgrade in talent. Roy Hibbert's a pretty good player, and to lose him, to change your identity, you lose David West, it's not going to be easy for them. They're kind of right in that middle mismatch area where you can have the type of player you want, but you're going to sacrifice some talent. And I think they're going to be just outside the playoffs looking in, but it's pretty wide open in that lower part of the East. They're going to be right there. Monte Ellis is a nice addition, but I really like George Hill and what George Hill started to do last year, and I don't think they can coexist perfectly. So you're going to be stepping each other's toes a little bit, getting some diminishing returns with having those two ball handlers in the backcourt.
Okay. How good do you think the Pistons can be? It seems like they're the young dogs, of the division, but, and I know they have some young guys and everything like that, but do you think, they can make, some noise in the division in the second half, maybe challenge some of those teams, as some of the upper echelon teams in the Central Division are fighting for a playoff spot, that they'll make it difficult to get some wins on them late in the season?
Yeah, I think they could definitely be one of those teams challenging for the playoffs, too. I think some people are overlooking them a little bit. Andre Drummond's a real difference maker, offensively for sure now, on the glass for sure. I think if Stan Van Gundy can mold him into an anchor defensively, that can make things a lot easier for the team.